Dorfman started the game with the knight f3 move. After g6 he played e4, the bishop g7 and d4. White captured the center with pawns, and black tried to counterattack it with his pieces. After d6, the knight c3, the bishop g4. Romanishin played, tying up the knight, the bishop e3 and the knight c6, creating pressure on the pawn d4. Dorfman decided to push him forward, capturing even more space. After the knight e5, the bishop e2, black took the knight to f3, giving check. And here Dorfman refused to exchange the white squared bishops. Beat with a pawn, attacking the black bishop. The most natural thing is to retreat to d7, avoiding check from the b5 field. But Oleg Romanishin kept the bishop on the d1-h5 diagonal, moving to the edge of the board. White gives check, forcing his opponent to retreat with the king to f8. So, black was left without a castle, but why? It is not very clear yet. If white had moved the bishop to e2, then played queen 2 and went 3 o'clock, he would have maintained his advantage. But Joseph Dorfman decided that there would be no particular safety for his king on the kingside, so he went 2-0. Black plays e6, opening the way for his queen to the kingside. Pawn exchange and bishop e2. White is already ready to play f4, offering an exchange of white squared bishops. But black enters with the queen on h4, creating pressure on the pawn h2. A critical position has arisen on the board in this game, and there is only one move left until the end of the match. Despite the compromised pawn structure on the kingside, white's position is still safe. Here it was possible to play f4 immediately and after the exchange white. Bishops, black can further worsen the opponent's pawn structure by exchanging on c3. Then play the knight f6, attacking the pawn e4. After f3 go to the rook e8 and the board is approximately equal. But an even stronger move is the knight b5, attacking the pawns a7 and c7. This crossing of the demarcation line from the side of the white knight gave Dorfman a significant advantage. But white very untimely moved the king to h1. When we see such moves, we remember about prevention. But in this case it is not clear what white is protecting himself from. Moreover, this careless move of the king to the corner of the board creates ideal conditions for Oleg Romanishin's instant combination. Of course, Dorfman saw the move bishop e5, with the threat of checkmate on h2, but in this case white has the move f4, and here everything is fine, after taking on f4. Exchanging dark squared bishops, we take on h5, kh, and here white can immediately take on h5, or make some other useful move. The position is approximately equal, but by retreating the king to the corner of the board, Dorfman did not notice the opponent's dagger blow. The bishop beats f3 check. This is exactly how Oleg Romanishin played. The piece is sacrificed in order to block the white pawn f2. And here it suddenly turns out that black is forced to checkmate. Of course, if you do not take the bishop, retreat to g1, then checkmate in one move. Queen g4, and if you take on f3, then after the bishop e5. White can no longer block the killing diagonal h2 b8 with his pawn. White the bishop on f3 blocked his own pawn on f2 and cannot do anything to his king. The one on h2 cannot be avoided, and this happened precisely because the white king was on the corner square of h1. If he had been on g1, he could have easily retreated with a rook to e1, avoiding the threat of checkmate. And so Dorfman could only pretend that he did it with a clear conscience. Here is a very short but beautiful chess miniature performed by two Ukrainian grandmasters.